Welcome to Phase 3 Cardio Day 2. Today we'll be utilizing a chair, so you'll want to make sure you have one of those handy. Also, today is going to have some complicated movements, but we're going to walk you through each and every one of them. These are all going to be very challenging. However, you're going to really get that heart rate up. So you want to make sure you focus on form. Make sure you're doing as many repetitions as you can in the allotted time. With that said, let's go ahead and get started with a standing Heisman. Want to make sure to get that elbow all the way up to the knee. Today's warm-up is going to be focusing primarily on getting your body stretched out. So here you want to really get a lot of lift in the leg. It's not so much important that you're doing this for speed, but you want to just really stretch out that hamstring, your outer back, stretch out your back by forcing your elbows down. Now let's bounce. We're going to bounce here for 20 seconds and then we're going to move into our next warm-up, which is going to be mummies. So you're going to want to stick your hands out straight. You also want to keep your legs pretty straight during this movement. Let's get started. You can see how Joe is doing this. He's got a perfect form, keeping those hands above the shoulders, kicking the leg out but keeping them straight. This will really warm up the shoulders. It's going to warm up your legs a little bit more and your core. Go ahead and bounce. Next up we have a move called knee pulls, where you're just going to get your knee, pull it up like you're doing a high knee, grab it with both hands, and you're just going to gently pull. Put a little bit of force on it. You're going to pull and you're going to alternate knees, pulling those knees up to your chest. Let's go ahead and get started with those. See how Joe's doing this. Really stretching out those hamstrings, stretching out your glutes and your lower back. This is a really great movement. And let's go ahead and bounce. Next up are going to be toe touches, where you're actually going to stick your toe out in front of you, keeping it on the ground. Lean down, pull that toe back just a little bit so you can get a good stretch on your calf muscle, stretch out that lower back. Go ahead and start. There's going to be alternating legs here, back and forth. Keep stretching and make sure you get a good stretch all the way up your body with each one of these. And let's bounce. Let's rest right here. So now's a great time. If you feel like you need to stretch anything else, go ahead and do that. Also make sure you got your water ready so you can stay hydrated. First move in our exercise today is going to be crawl up push-ups. You're going to start in a standing position. You're going to lean forward with your legs locked onto your hands. You're going to walk yourself out into a push-up position, and today you're actually going to complete a push-up. And then you'll walk yourself back out of that same push-up position back to standing. You'll stand up and then you'll repeat the movement. And let's go ahead and start with that movement. As you can see, Joe here walking himself out, drops down for a push-up, walks himself back up, and stand, just like that. You want to make sure you get all the way down with a proper push-up. You just want to stand all the way back up, straighten up when you stand up. And let's bounce. Next, we're going to move into a one-legged burpee. This is where you're going to jump down into a burpee position, but you're only going to land on one leg. And you're going to use that same leg to jump off the ground. Then you'll alternate back over to the opposite leg. And let's go ahead and get started with those. Joe's giving you an example here. And jump. And you're going to swap sides to the other leg. Jump off of the other leg. Great job. Now let's move into a bounce. Next up, we're going to move into a traditional plank. Easy movement, squeeze the core. You're going to be down on your elbows. And let's move into the plank. Here you really want to focus on breathing. Also really want to make sure that you are squeezing and contracting the core, that your butt is down. Your shirt should not be sliding up. Let's move back up to our bounce. Next up is going to be a squat with a pulse. So what that means is you're going to move into your squat position. You're going to hold it there and do a mild, moderate bounce. You'll do it 3 times and then you'll come up. Let's go ahead and get down. Squat, pulse, 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 and then back up. Great job. Back to the bounce. The last exercise of this set is going to be a scissor kick, where you're going to lay down in a 6-inch position on your back and you're going to move your feet out and over one another. The difference today, you're going to lift those legs up while you're doing it. If you look at the screen, Joe's taking care of it now. Let's get into that movement and start moving. It's a difficult movement, but keep pushing through. It'll pay great dividends. And let's get up and bounce. And let's rest. Take this opportunity to make sure you get some water in your body. Probably pretty winded after this exercise, no problem. Stretch out whatever might feel tight, whatever might be a little warmer. Get that area stretched out, and again, make sure you get some water in your system. Alright, let's go ahead and move back into those crawl up push-ups. Make sure you get a full extension into a great push-up position. And walk yourself back up. You're just doing the one push-up and walking back up. And you'll go back down into the push-up position. The most important thing is that you're walking yourself back up and you're walking yourself out to do the push-up. And let's bounce. Next up, we're going to go back to those one-legged burpees. Let's go ahead and get those started. Remember to alternate legs each time. So you should get a good bounce off one leg. And then when you go back down, you'll swap to the other foot. And you'll jump off of that one. Great job. Back into the bounce. Make sure when you're bouncing, you're moving your feet and you're getting off the ground. It's a small chance for a recovery, but we do want to keep you moving. Next up is our traditional plank. Let's go ahead and move into that. Again, on the elbows, stiffen out the back. Make sure you're contracting your core. Great job. Let's get up and back into the bounce. Next up, we have our squat pulses. We're going to get back down into that squat position. You're going to have a small bounce 3 times, then you're going to move up. let's get back into our bounce. Last exercise of this set is going to be those scissor kicks with the lift. Again, you're going to lay on your back, you're going to perform scissors, but you're going to get a lift in there. That's the variation. Let's go ahead and move into those scissors with lifts. Great job. Let's get back up into that bounce. And rest. Now's a good time to go ahead and pull your chair out. You'll need a chair for the next exercise. Also take advantage. We've got a full minute here, so you want to get something to drink. Move back to whatever you need to stretch out. Try to control your breathing during the rest as well. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow the heart rate back down. That's the magic of these cardio sessions. You want to raise your heart rate and then lower it back down. First exercise on the agenda is going to be dips. Keep your knees bent. Put your hands on the chair. Let's start dipping. Remember, this is cardio today, so don't put your legs straight out. That's going to cause a lot of strain on the triceps. Keep your knees bent. It's going to keep the heart rate up. It's still going to engage the triceps, just not quite the same way. Great job. So let's start bouncing. Next on the agenda is going to be a traditional wall sit. So that means keeping your knees together. You're going to sit on the wall like you're sitting into a chair. Let's go ahead and start. Remember to control your breathing here. Breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Keep holding just a few more seconds. And that's it, bounce. Next up today, we're going to do a variation of a stiff leg deadlift. What you're going to do is on one leg you're going to balance. You're going to lean down and touch the ground, but you're going to kick your other leg up behind you. Look at Joe. And you're going to alternate legs. You want to keep that back leg as straight as possible. You might find you're having a hard time balancing, but that's okay. That'll come over the next few seconds. You'll start gaining more and more balance, and over the next few weeks you'll get it down perfect. Alright, bounce. Next exercise we have is called a glute bridge. This is where you're going to lay on your back, you're going to bend your knees and put your feet flat on the ground, and you're going to lift your pelvis up, pushing it all the way out. Let's go ahead and move into that. Take a look at Joe if you need an example. It's not a large movement. You do want to do it rather quickly, and you'll feel a lot engaging there in your glutes.
Doctor, help me. This dubstep is crazy.
And let's move back into our bounce. We got one more exercise after this in this set. It's going to be a 3-step side lunge. This is where you're going to step 3 times. You're going to lean down into a lunge on one leg while the other one's behind you. Let's go ahead and start that movement. Great job. Let's bounce. And that's it. We've got a minute rest. Take advantage of the time and rehydrate. Stretch out. Get yourself mentally prepared. We've got another round of the same exercises coming up. Get yourself ready. Up next, we've got dips coming back. A few more seconds here. Get yourself in position. And let's get started. Keep going. Remember to keep the knees bent so that you can really take some of the pressure off of the triceps.
I think my head is going to explode.
And let's start bouncing. Keep bouncing and remember to breathe through the nose, out through the mouth. Up next we got wall sits. Remember to keep the knees together. Try not to use your arms to keep yourself standing up. Keep holding. I know it burns. Right now you gotta push through. Keep yourself focused on staying on the wall. Only got a few more seconds left. Right now, squeeze as hard as you can. And it's over. Start bouncing. Next leg, we've got one leg stiff leg deadlifts. So again, here you're going to stay on one leg and you're going to perform a stiff leg deadlift while lifting the other leg up. Let's go ahead and start. Again, you may have a little trouble with your balance, and that's totally okay. What you really want to focus on is just performing the move right. Trying to get as many reps in as you can. Keep pushing. Time to bounce. Next up, we've got that glute bridge. In a few seconds, so you may want to start getting in position now. Lying flat on your back, feet flat on the ground. Let's get started. Remember to keep the core engaged while you're doing this exercise. Thrusting that pelvis up. Make sure your feet are flat, arms are flat next to you. Keep going, and remember you're trying for time here. You're going to do as many reps as possible in the time allotted. Great job. Let's get up and bounce.
I think my head is going.
All right, let's move into our 3-step side lunge. Remember to get a good bend on the back knee and a good bend on the front knee. Keep pushing through these. Let's start bouncing. Great job. It's time for a rest. If you've made it this far through the video without turning it off yet, you've done a great job. Right now, wrap your mind around it. We've got one more round, one more set, and we're done with today's cardio session. Right now, you've got to really work out the things between your ears that are telling you can't make it through, and you got to push. Got a couple of 3 simple exercises for you. One is called a box drill. You're going to start on one foot. You're going to jump forward, to the side, behind you, and then back into the original position. We're doing that on one foot. We're going to do that for a full 40 seconds on one foot and a full 40 on the other. Let's go ahead and get in position. Got a few more seconds left. You choose what foot you want to start on. And let's go. You may find yourself hard to keep your balance. That's okay. Each time you jump, just gather yourself, then start again. Remember, you're doing this whole thing on one foot. Great job. Time to bounce. We are about to repeat the exact same exercise, but you're going to use the opposite foot. Get yourself ready. Opposite foot, let's go. Forward, to the side, behind you, to the other side. Again, you may find some trouble with your balance. That's perfectly okay. Just gather yourself each time you jump, and then move on to the next segment. Great job. Let's bounce it out. The last exercise for today is a closed grip push-up. Simple exercise. Regular push-up. You know the modification, keeping your knees on the ground if you can't do a traditional push-up yet. Let's go ahead and get into that push-up position. You're going to make a triangle with your fingers. You're going to keep your hands together. If you need an example, you can look at Joe on the screen. Just keep repping it out. As many as you can do in the time given.
Let's rock.
Keep repping them out. Just a few more seconds. And get up and bounce. Make sure you're getting off the ground as you bounce. Great job. Just like that, you finished phase 3 cardio day 2.